when my team wins a big game, it's good. But when my team doesn't win the big game, you better look out, Buster. I'm a loose cannon. This is not good at all.
Hello there, fans of podcasts. My name is David. This is the Too Much Dip podcast. Coming to you from Austin, Texas in the Washed Media Studios. Joining me, as always, is none other than Dylan Shivery.
Is it true that Mahomes Sr. intentionally got arrested so he wouldn't have to sit with Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl? Because that's what my friend Nick Adams is saying on Twitter, and I believe everything he has to say.
Nick's been right, man. Nick's kind of on a roll. I'm willing to entertain that. That's a weird way to go about getting out of the game. I might just fake an illness.
Or like, my plane got canceled or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
There are better ways than to drive while intoxicated.
For the third time.
For the third time. But who knows the actual truth there.
Here's a Taylor Swift truther joining us from Wisconsin. It's KJ.
Hello, fellas. Happy to be here. Thank you for that, as I had not yet connected the dots between, are we doing PMS Senior, or how are we doing Pat Mahomes Senior?
Man, I just don't know if he's
PM1?
ever gone by PMS. That wouldn't be, I don't know if that's what I would go by if I were a ball player in the 70s.
I don't think that he was in the 70s, by the way, but
80s?
Feels 80s
I
to
guess
me.
it would be late 80s, early 90s.
You're right.
As, we had like photos of Mahomes and young Mahomes and twin Genie. Anyhow, I hadn't connected the dots between Mr. Mahomes and T Swift, but could be onto something. She's going to be flying halfway across the planet to likely be there on that day. I don't know. Do PJs have showers?
Some of them.
Surely the tech is there. They can have toilet. They can have shower, right?
I don't know. I feel like Taylor Swift seems like well pampered, maybe not like well showered.
She'll
She's
mix
got
in
a
a
busy
shower.
schedule.
Somehow.
Between her show and the Super Bowl, she'll mix in a shower, KJ. I'm not concerned about that.
Yeah, I feel like she's got the ability to clean up, access to those things of that nature.
Yes, people to do those things for her, but I think it's going to be like hit with a person holding a sponge.
What?
I don't know. I'm saying that Pat Mahomes Sr. got arrested because he thinks Taylor Swift may not smell the best while in the Super Bowl suite. It's the picture I'm painting here.
Are you accusing Taylor Swift of not washing her legs in the shower? Is that what this is?
It seems like a long way to go.
Okay. Randy, what do you think? Producer Randy's here.
I think that Taylor Swift takes plenty enough showers and she's a clean lady. And KJ's just mad because us Boilermakers went to Madison and laid a smackdown on the Badgers.
Wow.
Whoa.
It wasn't a smackdown. They didn't win, but
Randy,
it
we
was
were
going to
talk about that at length.
I'm sure you were.
Yeah, what's up with all the top 10s losing in basketball this year?
That's crazy.
Anyhow.
Though. Yeah. Well, okay.
Good game.
Good stuff. What do we want to do today? Do we want to, Dylan? We didn't talk about the circling back fundraiser for St. Jude's.
Okay.
So I figured we could do it here because, look, there's a chance if we do that or when we do that, wherever we meet, we might have KJ joining us, depending on location. So we could
I
pitch
think like
that now.
60% plus chance, yes.
We are doing a fundraiser, folks, that benefits St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Wonderful organization. And the way we are kind of driving the competition here is the winning city, as in the city that donates the most, will get a circling, or we'll call it a Wash Media meetup in their city. We've narrowed it down to 8 cities, and you can compete by donating in your city's name. And Dave will drop the link in the bio of this. How about that?
Link in
Find it
bio,
easily.
y'all.
Yeah, Seattle currently is in the lead by a large margin. Denver, Charlotte, Nashville, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, New York, and Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, the caboose here, KJ, they're in last place currently. So
That's
For now.
disappointing because KJ is extremely wealthy, and I'm wondering why he hasn't made a sizable donation.
Like
yeah,
I said, for now.
check
Waiting
it
on
out.
Uncle Joe maybe to hit me with that tax refee.
The campaign ends at the end of this month, which is February 29th on a leap year.
Okay. We're not doing refee, by the way. I don't know. You just can't sneak in a refee. Just say refund.
Oh, give me that stimmy check.
100% of the proceeds go to St. Jude. Everybody knows St. Jude.
Yes.
Great organization.
Great song.
It's not the song. Although you know what? They should have done that. They should have done some kind of collab. Not that they need it. They raise a lot of money. We've got kind of a grab bag. It's kind of a weird week for sport. NBA trade deadline, I think we're like 3 or 4 days away. So obviously some stuff could drop as we're doing this show, but more realistically, it's going to drop midweek. And we have a live stream, our final live stream of the year, Thursday, for the big game, the Super Bowl. And we'll probably have some breaking NBA news then. Also, NHL just had their All-Star break. We had the Pro Bowl, which KJ is going to talk about at length here in a minute. I know he watched it. 64-59, Dylan.
I watched a little bit of it myself, actually.
It was cool to watch a few plays.
It's much more entertaining the way they do it now than the way they used to do it, which is play an actual football game that no one cared about. There were no big hits. You're not rushing the quarterback, stuff like that. That was just like, okay, everyone's going through the motions. This was like, seemed more competitive.
Seems cool to see.
Everyone having fun.
Is it cool to see your favorite players' faces?
Yeah,
as they do their craft.
It's like, oh, that's what Buda Baker actually looks like under his helmet. You know?
Yeah, agree.
Buda Baker. I'm glad you picked that one. I think I was going to lean with like a DeMario Davis, but yeah, you got a lot of not obscure but stars names.
Tug of war.
I've got a problem with that, but we can dive into that when you're ready.
You know, I don't like to talk about tug of war.
You got a problem with tug of war?
I got a problem with how the NFL is portraying tug of war.
And how's that?
Or
I'm so
move
curious.
the chains contest, at least specifically, as the NFL, home to billions and billions of dollars of revenue, still relies on the absurd and archaic approach of measuring like the critical metric of first downs by chains that we assume are accurate. And for their tug of war event or move the chains event, maybe there are two separate things. They have linemen pull said like a set of chains with the stanchion and all, like with the whole pylon thing connected to it. It looks ridiculous. And it's just a reminder of how dumb the chains are in the NFL is what I'm referring to.
Are there still people like baseball purists that are like, man, umpires are part of the game, calling balls and strikes?
Absolutely.
Like, are there people being like, nope, the chains, the guy is measuring it that way? That's part of the game. It's part of the allure.
Purist guy.
It's my first job.
Purist guy is more prevalent in baseball for sure than football. There's just some snobs that refuse to adapt with the times. And they think an umpire missing like 7 pitches throughout the course of a game is just normal when there's no reason. We already have the technology. It's like on every broadcast already. So the football thing, KJ, I do agree that it should be fixed. It's archaic.
They just look dumb. It's just the dumbest looking thing on a football field that Jason Garrett's not standing on.
Okay. Do you remember, speaking of Jason Garrett, I think it was a Jason Garrett-led Cowboy team when the ref brought out the index card? That was a Cowboy game to measure the
100%.
You'd think that would be the moment where they're like, okay, we're not doing index cards. Like, we've got the tech. We could do something.
Or like the tennis technology when there's a ball that's like right on the line and someone challenges it and they zoom in on it and they can tell with the most precision possible whether or not that ball cleared the line or not. You know?
Yeah.
It's like the technology is out there and across numerous sports, but football's like, nah, we'll just Give or take an inch here or there. We'll figure it out.
It actually,
No, we've got two dads who are looking for some time off. We're holding some sticks over there. We're gonna trust their judgment.
yeah, this guy who's a realtor or an insurance agent in his spare time, like we need to get him the reps, man. These guys got to feed their families too. Crazy, silly. Where do y'all want to begin? Because we do have like a random story that we have not discussed. Of course, I'm speaking.
Let's just do one more. Can we do one last like Pro Bowl thing? Then we can just put that aside altogether.
Yes, please.
I agree with Dylan that it was entertaining and was competitive. The level of defense was very shocking. Like it was a 5-point game with like 5 minutes left, and AFC couldn't score. Like there was 2 different exchanges in this game. And like players are terrible flag pullers, but phenomenal at like being in position. Not to surprise nobody, but I also watched it like with a tinge of like, no contact injuries, no fall down and like broken fingers, because it was so fun. I like did not want those injuries to happen, even up until the last moment. Like CeeDee Lamb was making spectacular catches at the end of the game, and the whole time I'm just like, don't get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, run it back. So flag football works. Anyways, that's it for Pro Bowl.
I caught a little bit of it in the clubhouse after my round of golf. It just happened to be on, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what I was watching, the novelty of it. I don't think it's something that if I were at home, I would turn it on, mainly because I don't really have access to my TV, as it's probably Lucas the Spider or Llama Llama, or whatever Netflix kid show dominates these days.
Trash truck.
But yeah, big, you know what? Good for them, trying something new, at least on that end. I do want to talk about what is being dubbed the Olympics on steroids. You guys seen this? KJ, you're a big Peter Thiel guy. Dylan, can I interest you in the enhanced games?
I'm intrigued. I'm not ready to call it must-see television, but I want to know where this goes, if it goes anywhere at all. I will keep one eye on it.
And to be clear, enhanced games, this is not a Joy Mode ad.
Right.
Which is
right. Although that might be one of the allowed substances.
It should. You know, I was looking at it, and there's so much stuff that's banned by like the NCAA, like ginseng, which is in Joy Mode. Do you know taurine is banned? That's a banned substance. Isn't taurine like in Red Bull?
Absolutely, it is.
Monster.
All the energy drinks. I was very surprised by that. Not important. But yeah, Peter Thiel, PayPal guy, co-founder of PayPal, Silicon Valley billionaire.
Deep pockets.
Deep pockets might fund your lawsuit if it means shutting down one of his mortal enemies. Shout out to Deadspin. But yeah, they're looking at encouraging athletes to use performance-enhancing drugs in an Olympic-style set of games. And I have to say, I will keep an eye on this. I would watch this if it happened to be on at a place I'm at. You're shaking your head, KJ.
It, like, I don't know. I think I would enjoy it if it were just promoted as another competition without telling me about their testing policies. Like, you think of all the dumb stuff you see on ESPN 8, the Ocho. None of those are like athletically competitive typically. I think I probably watched a good 20 minutes of kickball the other day. But you've seen the Johnsonville bags competition or cornhole competition, whatever you want to call it. And at no point in time do I ever stop down to wonder, are these individuals being tested for performance enhancing drugs such as echinacea or whatever you might think of? Horny goat's weed. I hope that's how it's pronounced.
Echinacea is correct. It's just,
but like at no point in time does that like cross into the realm of like consideration. Bowling, I've never thought about it, never cared. And it might be because you're like, well, how would those things help you? Yeah, I just don't care. I don't care when I'm watching the Olympics, like who's going to be popped for steroids in the moment. So promote it. And then maybe I'll consider it. It being like pushed as like, here's the edgy alternative. That's the only part that like strikes me as odd. Like it's kind of comes with the whole like the woke media doesn't want you to see these athletes thrive.
The woke media. You got to think Nick Adams is all over this.
They're promoting
Indeed.
it during the regular Olympics in Paris too, which I don't know about you, but while I'm watching men's and women's gymnastics, I don't know that I need to see like counter programming to the steroided gymnastics part.
What type of athlete is it going to attract? Like Olympians aren't going to want to compete in this, right? Like actual people at the top of their field. I don't know.
I'm glad you asked, because this competition will feature 5 events: swimming, gymnastics, weightlifting, track and field, and combat. So you have to figure it's mixed martial arts. It's not very specific. But here's a fun fact. 44% of Olympians admit to using banned substances, while only 1% get caught.
Okay.
You don't believe those stats?
It seems a little loose.
Okay.
I mean, it might be accurate. What the hell do I know?
One of the lawyer, this D'Souza fella, I don't think it's Dinesh D'Souza, KJ. His quote was asked about the philosophy of being allowed to juice. He says, "My body, my choice. Your body, your choice." I
See
feel
what
like
I mean?
I don't know if that's I don't know if that
Where did he pull this 44% number?
I don't know. There is a link to I don't know. They must have done some kind of an anonymous survey.
Okay.
But I have to say, I would watch juiced up weightlifting. And I would also watch juiced up combat sports. Gymnastics, I don't know how much that can I know it okay. I don't know. Swimming, track and field too. I don't know, man. I might just be in on this. This seems like the best of the Olympics, only with people who are just not going to get tired and are going to recover immediately.
What is their Olympic Village going to look like?
Oh my God.
And are they going to have like Domvi crisis units in every dorm?
Okay. Okay.
I was going to say
like reinforced drywall.
I was going to say a steroid home run derby would be fun to watch, but we've already seen that a bunch. Used to
It's true.
occur every year.
We lived through the late 90s, early
Yeah,
2000s.
we did.
It was a great time, actually.
Fun time for
Let's
baseball.
put that on the docket for our it's not off season, but pre-Masters slow time documentary window, because I believe there's a summer of 95 documentary, or summer of 99, whatever it was.
Yeah, I was thinking like there's a good chance we could just go to this. I mean, I imagine getting media credentials wouldn't be that difficult. They're going to need people. I would absolutely go. We'll have to see. We'll have to get Brett to set that up. But I'm
Live
interested.
reaches out, or Enhanced Olympics reach out. They're on the same weekend. You're out of town. You just happen to be available. You've got a day. Wife's got the kids. Which are you going to?
Man, so I've got Live.
It's not, so you can't opt for home. You're not at home. You've got no itinerary. You're solo.
So I've got to either support the Peter Thiel backed organization or the Saudi investment fund backed organization.
I'm going Thiel all day.
I think, man, I don't know. I feel like Thiel gets you more trouble at home. I don't know. I think I am too, just because. You know what? How about this? How about we combine the two? Give me enhanced golf. Give me enhanced long drive. I bet those long drive guys are enhanced anyway.
Oh
right?
my God. Have you seen
They
what
have
they
to
look
be.
like?
Yeah, didn't we meet one of them?
They came in like hang their arms down straight by their side. They're so big.
They're old school Jack, to where like
Yeah.
they would tell you growing up, like my dad would always say, don't lift. He would be like, you don't want to lift too many weights because like you don't want to be so bulky you can't swing. Well, like these guys are too bulky, but they can swing.
Imagine you putting on so much muscle that like you couldn't swing. I can't imagine Dave with like 60 pounds of just pure mass on him.
You know how you've lost some weight? I've lost some weight too.
Have you?
Yeah.
Like you don't lift as much, do you?
The last two, no. Well, this is a complete detour that I did to myself.
He's lifting a second child.
I got that. That's very true. But I had a sinus infection, so I had to take antibiotics. I didn't work out for 2 weeks, and in that 2 weeks, I was like, well, I'm gonna eat really, really healthy. So I've just been doing like almost all protein throw in an avocado or two. I'm down to like 150 from like 158.
shit.
And I'm not trying to lose weight. So I'm like 150. And it's the lightest I've been in a long time. So,
Damn, player.
yeah, I got to bulk back up. You're trying to bulk back
Get
up,
those
right?
avocados, man.
Yeah, no, I swear to God, I was thinking about you this morning as I was cutting one up for my eggs. I was like, Dylan was eating 2 of these
Yeah.
a day.
I've lost close to 20 pounds now from like 2 years ago. About 20 pounds.
You look lean.
Oh,
I don't.
thanks.
I feel like I see me and my body dysmorphia. I just am like I'm just losing muscle. I just look like shit. So anyway,
I think you're still pretty hot.
DM me and gas me up, fellas, ladies.
I got gassed up at Zilker Park the other day, man.
Oh, why? Because you have the most defined chest in Austin.
I was walking Stella through the park, and it was nice. I did have my shirt off. It was nice outside. And this dude comes up to me. He was like, Dylan, man, you ripped. He goes, is that Randy? I was like the producer? Like, oh, the dog. No, this is, I have an English cream as well. This is Stella. Anyway, that's a long way to say that I got gassed up by a backer.
You're my go-to dog walker.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, dude, I'm gonna be gone for a few
Dave's out of
hours.
town.
You just watch Randy. I'm getting killed at home.
So thanks to that young man.
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
KJ, man, how are you in your body?
I've been seeing my rings close almost on a daily basis. I think I mentioned it briefly before we started this episode. I've been getting ready to lay the wood in my basement here soon, ripping up carpet, laying down some new floors.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Dylan would understand some of the manual labor that you've been through in your life, but
Yeah.
shit is not fun.
I've never pulled carpet.
Cutting up carpet and carpet pad.
Or
and
pulled up any
throwing
kind
that
of
shit
flooring before.
upstairs.
It's kind of fun because you get like I'm sure the tech has evolved since when I was like 1998 when I did this at Coppell High School, home of the Cowboys. Shout out to them. But you just kind of stab this like little tool into it and you just pull it back and then it rips up as you backpedal. And it's very satisfying as you just rip up like one super long strip across the room. If you can do that. Sometimes it gets caught up but I will say it's hard work. It's hell on the lower back. I could not do it now. So I'm worried about you, KJ.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's a part of the transformation that the new studio section here in my office and whatnot, and the rest of the basement will go through over the next couple of months. But the pods, we're getting ready. We're mid chrysalis season here in the Midwest, so we'll be ready. My new neighbor has a pool, so I got to be ready to flex by that time.
Hand up. Do most basements have carpet? I always envision basements as just being
If they're unfinished, they don't. But a lot of people put them in their finished basements.
okay. All right.
But then basements flood though too, so you usually have to. If that happens,
It's
get
true.
that carpet off.
Midwest guy checking in. Thank you, Randy. We talked a little bit about
Validated.
Mahomes' dad. So this is his third, and like this isn't that big of a story, but it's not the first time the Chiefs have had off the field stuff the week of the Super Bowl. This is third DUI, which I think will get you popped for a felony in Texas and potential jail time.
I've seen he's facing 2 to 10 years in jail. The chances that Patrick Mahomes Sr. goes to jail is probably close to 0, I would say.
He'll get a lawyer that'll plea it down to like reckless driving, and he'll skate. But I don't know. You might get some East Texas judge who wants to make a point. Very, very conservative law and order part of the state. Hey, you know what? That's most of the state actually, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
I got to say, shout out
Not
to him
great.
for being
Don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive. But the way Pat has been able to navigate just an insane amount of off the field stuff, like if it's not his brother, it's his dad. His wife has done nothing wrong, although there is just a number of people that like to chime in. So the guy has done quite well for someone who has a lot going on outside of football.
The timing of this
It's tough.
could not be worse.
No.
I assume that he's gonna have to answer questions about this all week from the media instead of talking about, the Super Bowl. So that sucks for him. Yeah, man. Tough situation. Tough situation this week for old Pat.
Yeah. What are you laughing at?
Yeah, it's wild that we're having this entire discussion and we're thinking like immediately about Pat Mahomes because the headlines I saw were talking about like Kansas City current owner, the women's soccer team. Her father-in-law was arrested in Texas on his third DUI, and they were trying to just wonder how that was going to affect the Kansas City current season when ownership
Right.
was facing these kind of problems.
Of course.
But
This is
I guess I see if we're looking through like the patriarchy's eyes on this, and how we would want to think about Pat first. So yeah, Super Bowl is coming up, so it might be a distraction for him, but I can't imagine what it's like for Brittany.
damn. KJ, man, I learned so much from you. Thank you for bringing it up. I didn't think of about like that, what it meant for their. Is it the Kansas City Current?
The current, which I knew that for a considerable bit of time before now.
Is that an electrical
And-
play or is that like a water current play? Because it's Kansas City, famously landlocked.
You know, both. When you watch them, they flow well like water, but they're powerful. Both like water generated electricity, and they're topical. So you choose.
I have no response to that.
The boys lost Dan
It's
Quinn.
also not a raisin like fruit. Yeah,
Finally happened. He finally took.
I kind of thought this wasn't going to happen for some reason. When the Seahawks hired Michael McDonald from the Ravens, and the Commander's job was the last open, I was like, well, that's not happening.
It's Mike McDonald.
and
To be clear, it's not Michael McDonald.
formal announcements.
Okay. It would be a lot cooler if it was Michael McDonald. I thought the same thing. I thought it was Seattle or bust.
Yeah.
But we
I
lost.
mean-
We lost DQ. Micah Parsons is sad, and we don't have a defensive coordinator. We being the Dallas Football Cowboys. No, that's fine. I don't know where
Are you worried?
DQ is on your hot coach carousel, your hot coach list. I mean, he looks cool. He's obviously cool, coach. Backward hat's cool, right?
Oh yeah.
Nah. I think Mike McDonald killed the streak. Brian Callahan getting hired by the Titans.
Mm.
The Falcons' new coach, whose name is escaping me.
Raheem Morris.
And there was one other. Oh, yeah, Raheem Morris, good-looking dude. But that's not the one I was thinking of. There was another guy. Either way, we had 3 or 4 hot coaches added this cycle. Like a third of the league is going to be strikingly good-looking every Sunday. So that's a positive. But as far as Dan Quinn leaving the Cowboys, as Cowboy fans, knowing that you're going into a year with your coach on his final year of his contract, there was efforts over the past 2 seasons to try to say like, hey, Dan Quinn's the coach in waiting, like, give this man the job. Does this make you feel any more or less optimistic with him gone and in the division?
Dan Quinn in DC doesn't strike fear in me. I don't think that they're suddenly going to become a better, a much better football team. Having said that, I wanted Dan Quinn to be elevated in Dallas. I wanted McCarthy out the door, and I wanted Dan Quinn. I think he is a coach that players really get behind, and they like him. And he's didn't win a Super Bowl, but he's been to a Super Bowl. I like Dan Quinn. I like what he did with the defense. I know that they kind of trailed off at the end of the season there, but he had a good run as DC in Dallas.
Dylan, you said it doesn't strike fear into your heart. What if you throw in, I don't know, maybe a really hot coordinator?
Speaking of good-looking coaches.
A real hot coordinator.
Cliff Kingsbury moves from USC to a big boy league. He is OC in Washington.
Yeah, and this was, I thought it was almost just about to be a done deal. He's going to Vegas. And we had KJ and I, we talked about this last week. Like, oh, this will be fun.
Friday
banter.
morning.
Yeah, we're like, this will be fun to joke about. Cliff in Vegas. He's gonna party and be hot and get chicks. Cool. You could still do that in DC, but it's just not as fun.
So The Commanders
Mm-hmm.
have the number 2 overall pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Cliff coached Caleb Williams at USC. A lot of speculation on the streets that the Commanders are going to make a move for that number 1 overall pick. Going to cost them a lot to move up to that 1 spot, I think. So I doubt. I think Chicago knows what they want to do, and they know they want Caleb Williams. But if not, they're going to make Washington absolutely pay for it.
Yeah. Do you think after watching, I know it's only 1 year of my guy from Alabama, but like after watching what the Panthers did and gave up to trade up and get, why is his name
Bryce Young?
escaping? Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Like, is that the move?
I think Caleb Williams is considered like a tier above even a Bryce Young.
For sure. For sure. I mean, I'm
Even as
seeing
as the
crazy.
number 1 overall pick.
I'm
but-
seeing crazy shit like about how he's can't miss, and I feel like I think this show has been kind of like, and maybe it's for dumb reasons, but
because he paints his fingernails.
that was a big part of it. If the
Mhm.
clip has taught me anything,
Right.
I can't imagine Chicago passing up on him.
I can.
Oh, okay.
Trev, yeah.
Okay, let's hear from Randall.
That's it. Just Chicago doesn't make good moves.
You think they're
ever.
going to blow it?
Even if he does become a quarterback, Chicago's cursed at the quarterback position.
You're saying they don't develop quarterbacks well?
Yep.
Yeah, you're right about that. History will show you.
That would be my motivation if I'm Chicago. Like I would say that any quarterback, generational or otherwise, they have to be in the right place in the right system. And you've kind of got to take a second to be honest about where you're at as a franchise to say, like, are we really going to be able to turn things around by making this draft pick, or will this, will we be able to capitalize in this moment? Because they just had this opportunity with Justin Fields. Now, hypothetically, in this hypothetical, we're talking about moving 1 spot and picking another highly regarded quarterback, one who started for 2 or so years, maybe 3. Well, I guess Sam Howell, their current starter, was just there 2 years ago. So, but Drake May has been a top ranked prospect for a couple years. He's not the Jaden Daniels or name has kind of risen throughout the offseason type quarterback. Like, I don't think you're that far off by ending up with that guy. Is it Caleb Williams? No. You still have Justin Fields. If you're Chicago, you're happy to take that deal. If you're DC and you've got a new coordinator, a new owner, a new head coach, maybe you do it to make the splash if it's there to make. But if I'm Dan Quinn, I am lobbying hard against sacrificing what will be your opportunity. I don't know.
Drake May famously backed up Sam Howell, correct?
Yeah, but when's the last time Mac was regarded as the right QB decision maker in his career?
Okay. That's a great point. I forgot. Oh yeah, we do have the Mac Brown angle. Dude, that dude I cannot believe he's been coaching this long. It always shocks
That's
me.
weird.
I believe since Saban retired, I believe he's the winningest coach in D1 football right now.
He's done better at UNC than I think most people thought.
Yeah.
I mean, he's made them relevant, even if it's not like playoff relevant. It's at least producing talent. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I've seen people on Twitter, the talking heads being like, well, Cliff does not want a Drake May or whoever, like all these names. He wants Caleb Williams. And I mean, we've seen this before at Arizona with Kyler, and it didn't work. And at some point, Cliff's just going to have to take what the organization gives him and be like, dude, you haven't been that successful in this deal. Like you've done well at college and you've developed some great quarterbacks, but like it hasn't worked elsewhere.
I think he'll be fine with either. I don't even fault him for the Kyler scenario. Like, their relationship fizzled. The worst thing about, on the record for Cliff and Kyler, to me, is the whole Kyler wasn't studying. So, clearly there's a relationship building for him that becomes, or that lacks the inspiration to kind of continue to mature. We've kind of talked about a little with Caleb Williams, and that's really just kind of speaking based on what we've observed. We don't know anything. There's not like tangible evidence of like lack of maturity, as we've seen with some of his other quarterbacks, Cliff's other quarterbacks. But yeah, that would be like my one knock if I'm bringing Cliff in as the OC and we think there's a possibility to make this happen. You need to make sure you've got another manager in that room that can actually inspire the quarterback, not just to play at his best, not to just be relaxed and be confident, but to want to be great. And he's bringing those people into his room throughout his career. I don't know how many of those he's like getting to take the next step.
Sure. And, you know, speaking of being great, I try to be great, especially when I load up my Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS, it's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. With basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that include 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, LeBron James, Travis Kelce at a 10.5 point combo of 3-pointers made and receptions. Want to play alongside some of Prize Picks' favorite players like, rapper Meek Mill and comedian Andrew Schultz? You can find them in the community plays area under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the Prize Picks community each week. Steph Curry for more than 29 points, Jokic for more than 10 rebounds. That's how it goes, man. I'm having fun with the NBA stuff.
It's Super Bowl prop season, Davey.
Big props.
Yeah, big prop guy. Can't wait for that.
Prize Picks even offers you a reboot policy so that your entries stay in place even if one of your players gets injured. For football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. Right, that's the noise it should make. I don't know if that's the noise it makes. I haven't had
Probably
to reboot
doesn't.
yet, but it should. Prize Picks is the only DFS platform with an injury insurance policy. How about that? Go to prizepicks.com/dip and use code DIP for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, prizepicks.com/dip and use code DIP for a first deposit match up to $100. Check it out. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Anyway, dip. I was having some trouble there. I've got my Lucy in. I had to really enunciate that. Just full disclosure.
Dip during the dip.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. What I'm doing is not dipping, though. To be clear, far from it.
Okay. Well, yeah. Put a little lip in your lip during the dip. There you go.
I'm gonna put a little stank on it. Hey, what? Anything else? NFL? What happened to Belichick? I saw his son got hired. That was a real cool ESPN move, by the way. You look over on the right, it says Belichick's son. So you see Belichick, and then you immediately see hired. You're like, whoa, this should be bigger news. His son got hired somewhere, Washington, I believe.
Washington, D.C., yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, not Washington, D.C., Washington as the D.C., I should say.
Oh, he got a coordinator job.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
Which I'm
University
confused. All of the headlines I thought were not Bobby Witt. Maybe it's Bobby Witt, but the Cowboys assistant going with Dan Campbell, I thought was to be D coordinator, but maybe it's just to be linebackers coach or something.
Dan Quinn. No.
We're going to get
time out. We need to unpackage this. Belichick's son went to the college, Washington.
University of Washington. As the DC.
This may have been the most confusing 2 minutes of Too Much Dip's history.
I got really confused. I was looking at you and I was like, wait, are we on bit? Is this a bit warning? Like, are we doing bit?
No, I read the headline thinking this was about the Commanders, and I'm like, I thought
No. University of Washington,
Dan
he'll
Quinn
be the
brought the
defensive
guy.
coordinator.
I didn't realize he was that.
Steve Belichick.
I didn't know he was that high up in the game to where he would get a coordinator job.
He's got that last name, man.
You think? Oh, yeah.
By the way, I learned today that Jim Harbaugh has a son that coaches, and he is now
Jay,
what's his name?
special teams coordinator. I'm sorry, his name Jay Harbaugh.
Where's he going? He's in the NFL
Special
now.
teams for the Seahawks.
Yeah, Did not know
Really?
that.
Again,
He
Washington,
was on Michigan.
Seattle.
God damn it.
Did you know that?
No.
I didn't either. There are now 3 Harbaughs in the NFL.
Interesting. Okay. We got through it.
We got there, KJ.
A lot of shows would have just stopped
We-
it and been like, guys, we need to just let's go and run that back. We're going to confuse the listeners.
Bang
Not
at
us.
20.
Not us. We tweet through it. We pod right through it. What else? Anything else? NFL?
So to summarize, Belichick's son going to college as a DC.
Not enrolling in college.
Jim Harbaugh's son also going to Seattle, but in the NFL.
Unrelated.
Okay.
Yes.
That's exciting. For Belichick's son, I feel like he was allowed, or not allowed. That's very demeaning and unnecessary. I think that he was calling plays at some point defensively after like the Patricia years with them in recent history. But
Okay.
it's a move. I don't know why he's going to college. I figured he'd get a gig somewhere. Anyhow, do we want to do the Tennessee NIL deal or NIL conversation or?
We don't have to jump into it. I think it stems from a flight they might have paid. It comes down to like whether this kid, this recruit, if it was his flight to Tennessee was paid for by the collective or by the school as a recruit, or how it's very confusing. And to be completely transparent, I had to close the tab because the website was freezing my computer, which happens quite a bit with some of these websites. Websites aren't what they used to be, man.
My this one's kind of close to home for me. So my buddy K Money, Kev, who you've met.
I met Kev. He's done the show, right?
Yeah. His mother is the chancellor at University of Tennessee, Dondi Plowman. And she's at like the forefront of this. She like fired it back at the NCAA. She's a hero in Knoxville right now. They're making T-shirts with their face on them and all kinds of shit. Pretty funny. That's K Money's mom. Wonderful woman, by the way. I know her well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
It's cool.
the chancellor.
The chancellor.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, like only one of the most powerful individuals in this nation's academia.
She's kind of a
But,
badass.
Yeah.
You need to get a hold of one of those shirts.
I know. I do.
I would love to wear a shirt with my buddy's mom's face on it.
Mm-hmm.
One in particular. No, he doesn't listen. It's okay. Dondi Plowman calls on Tennesseans to repel NCAA amid NIL investigation. Yeah, okay. Shout out to them. We will continue to follow. Is she okay? She went to UT. All right, I'm just now looking into Dondi Plowman.
Dondi Plowman.
Okay, very cool.
She is her.
Is that the shirt they're making?
Is that a thing? Do people say that? Sure.
I mean, we could.
Okay, Barack. That was a very Barack follow. Is that a thing?
She is her.
Kids were saying.
She is her. Yeah, truth to power. No, it is a good letter, worth reviewing. The response there is pretty good. People are very excited about that in Knoxville. What else? What do you guys want to talk about? Liv almost had to postpone their Mexico event due to diarrhea.
Mm.
The great equalizer, as a great man once said.
Yeah, it's true.
The rumor,
It comes for everybody at some point.
it does. There's no escaping it.
Everyone you know.
Me included a couple months ago. It was a fun 3 days. What, Randy? I'm sorry, Randy. Mr.
You had
Irons.
diarrhea within the past couple months. No way you had.
Oh, yeah. I was on antibiotics that first couple of days until you balance it out with the probies.
No,
as
Why
well.
is that so unbelievable?
You go months without having diarrhea?
I had,
Months?
dude.
I haven't had it in a long ass time.
I was doing pretty good.
My gut biome is good. Everybody knows that about me.
Wait, time out. Is Randy saying that you should have it more frequently?
I think so.
Say if you drink and frat hard enough, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
He's calling you a GDI.
Okay.
Okay. Hold
The-
on.
Not everybody's reheating styrofoam or whatever saran wrapped, but burritos twice a week.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Here we go. We're developing an in-show beef.
I'm just updating and run it back real quick. Y'all carry on.
No, KJ had I feel like athletes had the GDI exemption because it was like, oh, dude, they can't rush a frat if they're fucking playing football. Got 2 days or whatever they got.
Can't haze. You can't haze these guys.
Can you imagine? I always heard a funny story. Like one guy was like a sig new at Ole Miss, and Eli Manning was like on his way out. It was his last year. He said he would just like walk in, and Eli would be watching film on like the frat house TV. And that's just a really funny thought. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that was really helping him excel in his career, his path. He ended up winning 2 Super Bowls famously. But
Yeah, because of the brotherhood.
that's right.
Randy, how often are you getting diarrhea, man?
Not often, but not often. It depends on how bad the night before was, or if I eat ramen.
So ramen or
Don't
drinking.
look at me.
And it's Rhea time for
It's
you.
Rhea time.
Okay.
It's Rhea time. Let's put that on a shirt too. With an exclamation.
This guy drinks and frats hard enough to get diarrhea on a regular basis, is what he's saying.
We got to keep Randy out of Mexico.
Yeah,
That's what I'm learning
That'd
here.
he'd just spend the whole trip on the toilet.
You're a target for the
Never been?
Montezuma H2O. Yeah, they throw these like pre-tournament parties for Live, and they get like they do these cheesy videos to make it look like an epic scene, and it turns out like golfers aren't that cool and they don't really party that hard, so people are just looking for Paulina, and that's it. Well, that's apparently where they got it, and they almost had to postpone it, but they didn't. So there you go.
So tens of people showed up to watch.
They may have had more than tens, but you're
Fair.
not that far. We still have to figure out if that guy's tweet was real or fake about the hot mic thing. I'm
About Hatton?
about 95% sure it was a fake.
He said nobody's fucking here.
Yeah.
It's not unbelievable.
Yeah. It's interesting because
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to then defend Liv. So before I do that, I want to hear the final argument.
Well, they're getting more coverage as like this thing. I don't even know. Is this PGA Live organization comes about, this merger, if you will. They're starting to get, like when we left to come in here and do the pod, we've got it on the Golf Channel because we're fratty. They were doing legit Live coverage, which I'm like, that's fine, but it's very interesting how like the golf media has I won't say they've turned pro Live, but they are now like realizing that they're going to have to start taking it seriously and not just shitting on it, which we will continue to shit on it until it becomes a good product.
I will never stop shitting on it, actually.
You got the Randy problem.
Of Randy,
Too much ramen. Too much ramen.
You're going to go Randy on these boys.
I need, yeah.
It's Rhea time for
I need
Dylan.
reinforcements sometime. I'm going to call Randy in.
Too much ROM.
TMD is taking on a whole new name.
Maybe you should stop eating ramen. Have you thought about
I
that?
have stopped eating ramen.
Even like the cheap ramen?
No, the cheap ramen and the expensive ramen. Just Rhea time.
Did y'all grow up on cheap ramen at all? Like, did your mom make you cheap ramen? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day, it wasn't a
I
problem.
fucking loved it.
I used
still
to.
do.
I didn't even boil it. I would just take the hard ramen.
No, you didn't.
And I would just put the seasoning on it,
No.
just bite into it.
That's our old fraternity brother, my old roommate.
No,
he
that's
actually-
worse than like dry scooping.
Yes, it is, and he used to do it. He couldn't-
I can't do that.
He couldn't take. He did not have 4 minutes to throw it in a pot and let it boil. He had to get it. He had to get those calories, those flash fried calories at that moment, and like that 10 million grams of sodium right then and there, just mainlining it. That is dry scooping ramen. Oh my god.
On Live real quick. You may be seeing more of Live this week as their tournament, February 8th through 10th, is in the small town of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Is it
How
really?
you get that booked? I have no idea. But you know, you got to think that's both intentional on their behalf and likely going to be beneficial.
Where are they playing?
Las Vegas Country Club.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So
you know,
that's
I
it?
expect more Live coverage this week. I feel like that's significant.
No, it is, KJ. I'm glad you brought that up because that goes against. So the tour's got the Waste Management this weekend, which
Mhm.
is
Very
a
close to
marquee event, an elevated event, I guess, and always runs right into the Super Bowl. Okay, and this gonna compete. I don't know, man. That's pretty crazy. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I didn't even know that doesn't shock me that there's a Las Vegas Country Club. I did not know that was in play. Okay. I'd like to see the membership
So
sheet
it's a
there.
muni. I'm looking ahead as I'm in my golf era here right now. It looks like you've got Live April 5th through 7th, so the week preceding Masters, Trump National in Miami. So that does make me wonder, depending on how this calendar year goes in some other areas of national interest, does that also mean like positive things for Live? I'm here to float. Yes, if so, but I'll let that play out. We'll see.
Okay. Give me your best grand conspiracy for Live. Okay,
No
election.
conspiracy, but I feel like all of Trump's, there was quite a few events where it was like unnecessary negative media attention when Trump courses were hosting majors. I think we had this at British or at the Open a few years back. It's probably like 5 years ago at this point. But a lot of Live tournaments are very happily at Trump courses throughout their schedule. They're going to Jeddah next week or next month, so they have no qualms about these things, as we know. I'm just here to say, hands could be shook. I'm sure that at some point in time he would be happy to be like, yeah, give me the extra 1,000 eyeballs by being at a Live event.
So you are saying, here's what KJ's saying for if you guys are having a little trouble following. I'm not, because I know KJ quite well. Here's exactly what he's saying. He is saying Live is to Trump as Taylor Swift is to Biden.
Okay. I was going to say to the Chiefs, but yeah, that works.
Because you know that, I mean, this is all part of she's going to come out and endorse Biden. You know that, right? Because I've seen that, and I'm just like, well, there's no way she doesn't, right? And
Very
Travis too.
Very outspoken anti-Trump, I believe. Yeah, our friend Taylor Swift.
There you go.
Yeah, that's like the non-shocking thing about this. I feel like maybe it was just the COVID situation. That's like how we sum that up, right? Where she was very vocally pro-vax and all of that. Like maybe that's what I conflated with her being like anti-Trump, or maybe it's women's rights things. I don't know. But the last week of people being like shocked of thinking that she's somehow not aligned with Trump was just mind blowing.
Remember that?
But anyways,
that videos that was leaked. I mean, not leaked. It was out there of her having a conversation with her family about being like vocally against Trump, and her dad was like trying to talk her out of it, saying she's gonna like turn fans away. It's not good for her image, not good for business, blah blah blah. And she was like, "This is important to me." She's like, she takes it pretty seriously, actually. Like she's very anti-Trump and doesn't care who knows about it. She feels like she wants to be, quote unquote, on the right side of history. So this has been a known thing for a minute.
yeah, fair.
Vaguely
Fair.
remember that video.
It's an interesting video.
I feel like she has been active, I don't know why, in local, like when Tennessee or whatever her home state is, Pennsylvania, I don't know, like passed a bill, a very restrictive bill, women's rights. She was, she advocated against it. Anyway, I mean,
But that was just like for verifying like ability to drive, and there was suspicion it would just kind of eliminate large percentage of the demographic, right?
ooh, gonna have to help me out there.
Driving.
Help me out there.
Same women be driving, of course.
Women be driving. We're not putting that one on a shirt. We're just not. We've got our shirts
That's my
for the
F1
day.
pitch.
What was the other one? Randy's got the Rhea, or what was it?
It's Rhea time.
Rhea time.
It's Rhea time. Yeah, we're getting that one, man.
Randy is like our beer pitch man. That's really stupid. Any more sports stuff y'all want to talk about?
I do want to I assume you did Vision Pro on circling back.
We did.
Quite extensively, but I'm happy to talk
Okay.
about it again.
As long as the F1 part got mentioned, or the sports viewing aspect.
It didn't.
Of
Take
got
it away,
mentioned.
KJ.
So Vision Pro was announced last week for the low price of $3,500 pre-tax. I'm not unlike several people have watched, a YouTube video of like reviews. I don't envision myself, no pun intended, like going out to purchase this. Have previously owned like the Google Cardboard VR headsets where it's just like a $30 thing. You drop your phone in and like they kind of give you the feel of like AR, VR, whatever. But I've seen a couple videos. There was one of a gentleman watching F1 on one of the Vision Pro screens, but then on like the coffee table was like a full rendering of an F1 vehicle and then of like the track with like live trackers of the racers around the track. I think there's something there.
Dudes rock.
Picture this. 2 months from now, you've got Jim Nantz in your ear, dulcery sounds of Jim Nantz in your ear. I can't speak. Welcoming you back to the Masters. But then on your coffee table, you've got a full overhead shot of like where everyone is on the course with like, their scores above them. And you're able to interact and then pull it up on the main screen. The Masters app / Vision Pro could work. Fast forward 6 months. One moment. You've spent your off season in the Sahara on the Ganges River. And then who do you hear on your headset but your friend, Scott Hansen, walking you through 11 hours of uninterrupted Vision Pro football. And you've got everything there in front of you. I think there's something there on the sports viewing side. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Also possible he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in the offseason. I just wanted to point that out.
It's in play.
Yeah.
I didn't give him credit for that.
He free soloed a rock wall in Chile. No, I'm really disappointed you didn't somehow tie in Ike's Pond to the initial round.
my God.
I was going to leave both porn and, Suey's out of this one. I was trying to,
good.
Like a reenactment?
I genuinely do think there's a shot.
Just thought that's where he was going because I've known KJ long enough and well enough now.
Big Ike's Pond guy.
What about this though, Dylan? KJ, tell me about this. Imagine like you've got the Vision Pro on. What a better activity to participate in while you're wearing it than downhill skiing.
Yeah, and you can see like how fast you're going and what part of the slope you're on.
Or like it can like digitally
coins.
put a tree in front of you so you think there's one there, so you have to like slam on the brakes. I think you mentioned that at one point.
No,
too,
I did not say that. You
Randy-
can gather
Randy.
coins.
Randy, before the show this morning, for some reason was like that would putting words in his mouth. That'd be cool to wear while you're skiing.
No, and then he went on to say you could play games while you're skiing.
I just
that
like
are
what?
involved in
Sonic?
skiing.
The game when you're skiing is not dying.
The game is the skiing.
What if there was just a small hill and they say, hey, you could try it out here and you're the only one on the hill at that resort?
You want like a grizzly bear running you down or something?
Something
you're
like that.
trying to
They-
escape from?
They did similar stuff on
Sasquatch.
roller
Fake
coasters.
avalanche.
Yeah, an avalanche, Randy.
But you're
Yeah.
actually physically on the mountain with other people skiing.
Well, I'm saying in this scenario, you're the only one on that like one slope, and it's like a water slide. It's like,
so
all right,
you've
one
rented
at a-
out the ski,
one at a
the
time.
mountain.
Maybe a Yeti clotheslines you or something. while
Something
you're
like
just trying
that.
to take a casual turn.
I think we're all like out on this pitch from Randy, but I do have to
I don't
offer in
know.
his favor the like Rainbow Road experience that Teslas have now, where you're fully like embedded in a game while not driving. I feel like it's very similar to what Randy's proposing.
There you go.
You're
Something
adding
like that.
technology to a situation in which you shouldn't have it, so you might as well fucking go all out. I don't think I'd sit in a stadium and like have this on, which I feel like would be similar to going skiing with this on. But
Would you mean you want to go
I
to
don't
like a sports and like have it on? Wouldn't that be like the same guys listening to the radio at baseball games?
Ooh, shout out to the dads out
we're
there.
all envisioning the same like headset radios.
Yeah, I've got a very vivid memory of that.
These dorks are gonna get mugged, right, on the streets wearing these things around.
Yeah.
It's an expensive piece of equipment,
And
it's nothing but squids wearing them around so far.
a lot of squids.
Easy to mug a squid.
Yeah, they're kind of. I mean, like I'm not gonna blame the victim, but you're gonna be like, well,
Kind of asking for it.
you kind of were wearing very expensive goggles.
Yeah, and you have no periphery. You know,
Yeah,
you don't see it coming.
You're rendered defensive less. Defenseless is probably the
Defenseless.
word you're looking for, Dave.
Mhm.
Well, that's
I
good.
know.
Okay.
All right, KJ.
More to come on this. I think, yeah.
Can you
There's very easy adult film consumption idea thoughts that could come into the wrong person's head here. I won't dive into those here on this platform because it's a family show.
Is it?
But on the sports side, as we go to the Olympics, I think that we will see more applications that we'll be interested in. As we go to the Masters, I think that this will grow to the point where at least one person in the washed media universe will have this by Christmas. No question about it.
It's going to be Will.
It's going to be Will.
I think the odds favorite are Will by far.
He's already flirting with the idea.
And KJ, to speak to your original point about like what we won't talk about, the adult film stuff, like you could even mix it with like the water sports stuff and not have the cleanup, which is probably enticing for some people, not me. Think about the
Steel app.
Sphere. Could you do the Sphere? Could you get a ticket? Would you have to pay for a ticket and get the Sphere experience? This experience?
I would almost choose to do this instead of going. Even though I'm pro Vegas, like with any small bit of like nudging, I will do Vegas. But I would opt for this over like going to see the Swiss Family Robinson at Casa Manana. So that's like Sphere-esque. It's so niche and unnecessary, but whatever.
There's so many other bands you could have name dropped.
Think they'll let you wear them at the tables?
Your VR goggles at the tables. Well, that's a good way to get introduced to old Vegas. They take you in the back and they don't hammer your hand. They just put the goggles on the table and just hammer it in front of you.
Oh, boy.
And that's our show.
That's good stuff.
Let's run her back.
We're going to talk a lot of Super Bowl Thursday, of course.
Oh yeah,
The live stream.
French onion.
Gonna have our picks.
Let's run it back.
Yeah.
The segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. KJ thinks Taylor Swift might stink, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Randy thinks
Don't
KJ
Taylor
is
sniff.
sour because Purdue whipped Wisconsin over the weekend.
It was only 4 points, but yeah.
KJ has a problem with the children's game, Tug of War. Dave lost some weight. Congrats, Dave.
I wasn't trying.
KJ has been closing his rings on a regular basis, getting ready to pull up some carpet. Big shouts to Dondi Plowman, K Money's mom, and my friend too as well. Dylan's gut biome is goated. Randy thinks if you drink and frat hard enough, you get diarrhea often. He gets diarrhea often, either from drinking or from eating ramen, yet he continues to eat ramen.
It's Rita time.
Women be driving, says KJ. And finally, Randy has a great VR idea.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm. And that concludes Run It Back.
Okay. Well, fun show.
Yeah.
Good stuff. We learned a lot. We got confused at times, but I think we got through it okay. We will see you on Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. Go follow us at all those places. And you can check out our live stream Thursday. I believe it's going to be back at our regular time, 6:30 Central. Okay? It's going to be a simulcast situation. Randy, the tech is there. You understand?
Yeah, we've done it twice.
We've done it twice.
Let's go.
All right. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I want my chips with the dip, that's all I know. I don't want my chips plain, I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.
When my team wins a big game,